Stop going for what you think you want in life and start looking at what you're sick of. Hi, I'm Cory and I had this huge realization the other day. As I was sitting in a seminar, this speaker asked this one question, and she pointed to something that was so true for me. It was undeniable. And what she said was, and she was sharing from her own story, is I couldn't tune into what I wanted, but I knew exactly what I was sick of. And I realized in that moment, sitting in that chair in that seminar, that that's exactly how I've created every single thing that I have in my life right now. Is I got so sick of it, but I identified it. So as she's talking and I'm having these like epiphany after epiphany after epiphany of looking at how did I go from $150,000 in debt to paying it all off? How did I go from a business that was losing me money every single month to a thriving one where we're making profits and employing people around the world? How did I go from relationships that were completely destructive to ones that are generative and nurturing? So I started looking at that, and I started going through every single thing that I've changed over the last almost 9 years. And I was like, holy cow, with every single one, I got sick of it. I got so sick of it that I was willing to, number one, acknowledge that I was sick of it. So it's like, I am so sick of being in debt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I did. I got so sick of it that I had to look at it a totally different way. And what I ended up doing was I was looking at my unconscious patterns that had created what I didn't want anymore. Because what I was doing to myself is I kept going, well, I want to be financially free and I want to make a lot of money and I want to have a great relationship and I want all those things. But what kept showing up was more of the same. And so when I started looking at what I'm sick of, I started going, oh, what is the one key element with every single thing that I have out-created for myself? The demand. A demand that I have something different in my life. And so if I look at the moment I saw all of the credit card bills totaled up to total $150,000 of debt, I was like, I will not live until I'm 80 like this. That was demand of myself. And that literally opened up the doors of possibility. I remember the last relationship that I had, I said, I will not have a man treat me like this again. I will not go that unconscious. Whatever it is that I did to create that, I am no longer going to have those relationships again. And from that moment on, I started to see my unconscious patterning there that created all of it, which I was unable to see before. And now I've created amazing relationships in my life with friendships and with my partner. And look at all of these choices and that demand that I had. I'm sick of this. I am done. And then there was the moment that I chose first class, and financially didn't make any sense, but I was on a flight from Australia to Vancouver, Canada, and my body hurt so bad and I didn't sleep at all. And I remember we left at 11 o'clock in the morning, but we landed at 7 o'clock in the morning. And landing at 7 o'clock in the morning meant that I didn't really sleep much because there was no, nighttime when you leave at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so I remember landing going, I'll make it through the day. And trying to get to sleep, my body hurt. I could never get on a time. And that whole trip, I was away for a whole month and I never really got into a rhythm. And that moment, I remember being in Vancouver going, I am not doing this to myself again. There's no reason for this. What do I need to choose right now? And the awareness was buy first class tickets because you get one of those beds you can lay down in. And my body was screaming, yes, yes, please, we can do this. And I spent lots of money on first class tickets for the rest of my trip. And what it was the commitment to myself that my body didn't have to feel this way anymore. If I'm going to be making long haul flights, I need comfort. And so what that also included was being able to make enough money so that I could pay for all of that for my body if I'm going to cruise my body around the world, right? So every single one of these things, I got so sick of it. I was done dealing with it. I was done putting up with these issues. And I acknowledged that whatever was going on wasn't okay anymore. But I didn't acknowledge it from the wrongness of like, oh, how could I have gotten myself into these situations? Acknowledging it from the possibility. Because everything that's heavy that's showing up in your life is actually a possibility waiting to be acknowledged and chosen. But what you have to do first, a lot of times, is actually acknowledge that what you've been doing isn't working. The judgment of you also isn't working. but stepping into going, okay, good, if I'm done with this, what do I get to choose now? What is the possibility that's screaming at me so loud that it's showing me that this problem, this heaviness, is no longer something that I can even choose, right? And so that's my tip for today, is look at what you're sick of. Look at the unconscious patterns that are creating what you're sick of, and ask the one question is, what else could I choose that'll create a totally different reality for me? So I'm Cory Michelle, helping people create their crazy possible lives, and I hope this tip contributed to you.